Thank you, Ray, for the introduction, and everyone else, thank you for joining my presentation. My name is Bas De Luij, and I work as a Research Innovation Manager for the online research agency Insights Consulting. I work at the Dutch office in Rotterdam for 1.5 years now, and this last January I joined the R&D team of Insights. In the past few months we've been developing a new survey process we've called Contextual surveys. And in this presentation I'd like to share with you why and how qualitative research elements should be brought into quantitative research. And first I'd like to start with our vision, since our vision is in some way our innovation compass. We feel that, driven by the ever more empowered consumers, market research should move forward to more collaboration, more observing, facilitating and joining conversations, and move forward to always on and being in the moment. And last but not least, move forward to more emotional sensing. But to be honest, it's often a struggle to really live up to this vision in quantitative research. Everyone in our industry, including ourselves, are trying our best to keep surveys as engaging as possible. We use, for instance, mobile optimization to complete a questionnaire whenever, wherever, and being actually in the moment. We make it more personal. We use, for instance, gamification to add more fun elements, and we vary in our question types and use several ways to make our questionnaires visually more attractive to complete. But still, responses are declining, and we feel that consumers just don't like it anymore. And some even argue that surveys are dead. And from a consumer point of view, it isn't hard to understand why. Compared to more inspiring and engaging methods like MROCs, we are definitely lagging behind in our survey approach. From a client perspective, we also try our best to bring our survey results in an engaging way, for instance, by using inspiring workshop techniques and presenting our results in cool new ways like data visualizations and nice infographics. But still, for clients, we believe the most powerful research is when it's a conversation starter and tells a genuine and lively story about consumers. And surveys often lack the personal context to truly understand behavior and really tell the story. So the question is, are surveys really dead? No, we don't think so. But what we think is that we need to keep on challenging ourselves to rethink our methods and move on, step by step. So the questions are, how can we inspire and engage participants and clients in surveys? How can we tell a lively story with rich context next to the numbers and the graphs? And how can we make people generate information? A first step in this challenge is to further fuse our methods by using the goods of qualitative in order to engage respondents and enrich our data by adding more contextual information. This all means that this type of research is crossing and stretching some boundaries. We stretch the boundary of qualitative research, but quantitative research, by also giving people ethnographic and contextual tasks. We stretch the boundaries of our profession because we also cede control to consumers and involve them as co-researchers. What we did is we challenged ourselves to create a platform within a survey that enabled us to give people tasks next to the questions we wanted to ask them. Tasks that are inspired by observational and ethnographic research, like asking consumers to explore their environment, observe their own behavior by making pictures and reflect on those, but also more co-research tasks, for example, interview a peer about a certain topic. Furthermore, this platform within a survey should enable participants to come back over time and complete tasks in a later stage of the project. And last but not least, this platform should be without a costly moderation time. To test our ideas on this contextual survey approach, we started a project called the 4th of July, in which we asked US citizens about their 4th of July celebrations. Next to some more standard Q&A questions about their drinking, eating, and party behavior during this day, we asked participants to join our contextual part of the survey. And for this contextual part, we selected participants that were going to attend or organize a home party during this event, and asked them if they were willing to complete some tasks the day prior to and during the 4th of July. These tasks consisted of their preparation, their shopping, and the party itself. And here you can see just an example. On the right you see a simple screenshot, and I can see it's not really a good one quality, but the platform looks just the same way as our survey. So for a respondent, technically it is somewhere else, but it's seamlessly connected with our survey, so they don't have an idea that they actually moved out of the survey. But anyway, the task on the left is just an example of the kind of tasks the people could get in this survey. So here, for example, a task to upload a few pictures of them drinking and eating at the party. Our goals for this first experiment were to find out the potential of the approach. Firstly, we wanted to investigate the borders of task-based research in surveys, meaning to what extent participants are willing and able to perform offline tasks over a longer period of time. How does it, for example, alter their motivation and their response? And are they willing and able to perform offline tasks related to the research objectives, like taking and uploading pictures, observe others, or make a documentary? Secondly, we wanted to know to what extent participants are capable of taking up a researcher's role in surveys, and in this case, to interview someone at the party. And finally, find proof for contextual surveys being a good qualitative add-on. And the point here is that we wanted to investigate the quality of the qualitative output in terms of richness, context, and participant happiness. So the next slides will go about how did we do. In this first experiment, people were actually very willing to join the extra contextual part. We see here that 38% subscribed and accepted our conditions for joining, which was a pretty satisfying result for us for our first experiment. But joining the extra part of the survey is one thing, but of course, most important for us was to look at their level of activity and number of contributions. 30% of our contextual survey participants completed most of their tasks, which was about 80% or more, while on the other hand 70% showed a drop in response, and this result wasn't particularly satisfying. We didn't actively moderate their responses like we would do in a normal qualitative research. Instead, we used reminder mails like in quantitative research. And I think the future challenge for us is to further improve, of course, the level of activity, but look into creative ways to keep them engaged without the costly one-on-one moderation. But still, the participants, both the active and the less active ones, managed to upload over 700 photos in total, which is pretty impressive, we thought. It's an average of about 9 photos per participant. So the question, are people willing to share their stories by using photos? We think the answer is definitely yes. Yes. But also here, we think that due to the fact that there was no active one-on-one moderation, not every single photo met our requirements. Around 500 pictures were useful and insightful. These were relevant, on topic, and high-quality pictures. But on the other hand, some 200 photos showed much lesser relevance. These pictures were, for example, icons, cartoony images, or simply quick lookups from Google Images. And that leads us to a new dimension actually of straight lining, because within this group of 200 photos, we saw people going through their task as quick as possible by just uploading some pictures from the internet. And I think for future development on this method, we also need to find more efficient ways to clean our visual data. Our second point was to investigate to what extent participants are capable and willing to take up a researcher's role. And this first experiment learned us that they had some difficulties with this. They didn't like the idea of interrupting someone at the party, or were set back because they couldn't really convince the other person to take part. And last but not least, they didn't like the idea of putting the pictures of another person online. So here for the future, we will try different approaches to help them more with their task to get this really working. The third and final point was to find proof for a contextual survey being a good qualitative add-on. Leaving aside the drop of response and the low quality input from some of the participants, the one who completed their tasks provided rich contextual input about the party. And on the slide here, you just see two examples of this type of input. It's always a picture of people sitting here at a party, but also combined with a comment that they made about what's happening on this picture. The big amount of photos and comments comes with a challenge in our ways of analysis, and to look into each and every photo manually would take a lot of time, as you can understand. Therefore, we've created an interactive database which we call our consumer story dashboard. And after tagging the pictures and combining information from the regular survey, like demographic variables, the dashboard helps us analyze the pictures by just slicing and dicing them in more digestible chunks. And also, we can zoom in to the content for the meaningful insights. For clients, we believe that this kind of dashboard can be a ball of inspiration. So, if we didn't have our contextual part in our survey, we would have output that looked something like this. We see that 80% of Americans who celebrate the 4th of July attend or organize a backyard barbecue. 60% of them is likely to consume beer and have a burger, hot dogs, ribs, or a potato salad. Combined with the contextual input, we bring these figures more to life, we believe, and actually show how this looks like for the average American. When looking more into detail at both the pictures and the comments, we've learned that their parties are, in a sense, unpretentious and relaxed. There is no real hassle to prepare everything to make it a perfect dinner. The pictures and the stories also tell us that most of the food is homemade, or at least used, they use all American brands for their food and their drinks. So our conclusion here is that the high-quality responses show the potential of this approach, and we believe that it can truly enrich our data. The pictures add faces and real people to the data, and the consumer story dashboard is a cool way to immerse in their lives. All in all, for us, a positive result. And of course, finally, the question is, what did the participants think of it themselves? Well, they were pretty positive too. Fun, cool, different, wouldn't mind doing another one in the future. Just some keywords that tell us that we are on the right track. So to conclude my presentation, we see as the first point, we see a lot of potential for this type of research in the future. We believe that it provides a missing link between quantitative and qualitative research. And for clients, the added value lies in the combination of both worlds. It delivers both the statistical evidence from the regular part of the survey, and the rich qualitative output brings it to life and gives us a way to deepen the results. And for us, for ourselves, I think we need to learn and improve and continue to make this work better in the future. For example, in terms of activity and high quality, we have still some work to do, but we are really positive to make it happen. So I think there was about 12 or maybe 15 minutes, but thank you for your attention, and I hope everything was clear.